Hey y'all and welcome, I'm Abby and today we're going to learn how to make these fun and cute pineapple earrings. So I'm actually wearing them and just so you can kind of see what they look like when you put them on. And I also have this other pair that I can show you. Sorry if the light is a little bright, but that's about what they look like. They're such a quick and easy project. It's definitely beginner friendly and they just look so adorable. But the inspiration wasn't just the delicious fruit, it was also from one of my favorite shows, which is Psych. If you've seen it, please let me know in the comments below if you love it as much as me. If you're not familiar with this show, the pineapple is a running joke, and it's been a joke since the pilot episode. So in almost every episode, you can find a pineapple hidden somewhere. So it's a lot of fun if you go and try to find it. That's kind of the idea. That's why I wanted to make these, and I actually gifted my sister a pair because we really enjoy that show. Anyway, that's probably enough about Psych, about the inspiration, whatever. So let's dive into the materials and what you're going to need to make this pattern. Alright, so I switched angles so you can see all my materials better, but as you can see, it's very minimal, and let's go through these one by one. First up, we have the DMC floss, and you're going to need yellow for the pineapple and green for the leaves. Now I do specifically say DMC floss in the pattern, however you can substitute crochet thread. I just chose DMC floss because there seems to be more of a variety of colors that you can choose from, and you don't end up with as much left over. Next up, you're going to need a crochet hook, and I found that a 2.25 millimeter will do the job nicely. Next up, you're going to need these Fishhook ear wires, and I found mine at Walmart, and it came in a pack of 24, but you can also find them on Amazon or your local craft store as well. A tapestry needle is also necessary, and this is how you will put together the leaves and the pineapple. So you'll definitely need a tapestry needle. And last up on our materials list, you're going to need a pair of scissors, and these will just trim off the excess thread that you no longer need. And that does it for the material section, and now we'll get started with our pineapple. So go ahead and grab your yellow DMC floss and your crochet hook, and we're going to get started on the pineapple. So first thing we're going to do is make a slip knot, and if you've never done that before, I do go fairly slow on this so that you can just follow along with me. Now might be a good time to mention that I do have the written pattern linked below, so if you want to go grab that so that you know what's coming next, now would be a great time to do so. Now that we have that slip knot on our crochet hook, we're going to go ahead and chain 13. I think you get the gist of how to do a chain stitch, so I sped up the video just so that it doesn't take too long. But we're still chaining, and we're waiting until we get 13, and then we're going to switch things up in just a second. We now have our 13 chain stitches, so we're going to count 4 stitches from the hook now. Where my right thumb is, I'm pointing at the first one and the second stitch, and now I'm going to the third stitch, and finally there is that 4th stitch. I'm going to pinch that place with my left thumb now so that I don't lose that stitch, because that is the stitch that I want to work 3 double crochets into. Now make sure to work into that top loop of your 4th chain stitch. So now we're making our first double crochet, and so you should have 3 loops on your crochet hook right now. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through those last 2. Now we're going to work our second double crochet into that very same space. Now we yarned over and then we pull through, and you have 3 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through those last 2. So now we have 2 double crochet, and again we're working into that same chain space, and you're going to do the same thing. Yarn over, have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Now you should have 3 stitches into that very first chain space. Now we're going to repeat that same pattern, 3 double crochet into this second chain space. So right now I'm making the first double crochet, and then next I'm going to make the second double crochet into that same chain space. Again, that's important. And then our last double crochet is going to go into the second chain space again, and then at the end of that you should have 6 stitches. Again, we are just repeating the same exact thing through to the end. So 3 double crochet in each chain, and then by the end you should count to 27 stitches. For the sake of time though, I'm just going to jump to the end and show you what I have, but please, if you need to, just pause this video and finish up your pineapple. Alright, so here we are at the end of the pineapple. This is what mine looks like with 27 stitches, and you can see that it does curl. It is almost like an open circle, and your edges should curl up like that, and that will come in handy in just a little bit when we shape the pineapple. But for now, we can put this one to the side, and we're going to go ahead and grab our green DMC floss and make the leaves. This is by far the easiest part of this pattern, so let's get straight into it. So what we're doing right now is chaining 24 stitches, and I already had the slip knot on. I didn't show that again, but if you need to see that again, just go back to the beginning of the video where I show you how to for the pineapple. But otherwise, just continue and chain until you have 24 stitches. I'm going to go ahead and speed up this video just a little bit more, just again for the sake of time so that it's not too long, but I think you get the idea. I've come to the end of my 24 chains, and this is what it looks like. So yours should look something like this. Next, we're just going to use slip stitches to make the leaves, and it's really easy, so let's get on to that part. We're going to start counting 8 chains starting from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's that 8th one. That's the one that we're going to make a slip stitch into. So I'm holding it there with my thumb so that I don't lose it. And then I'm going to put the hook through that top stitch, yarn over, and pull through that first one. And it's a slip stitch, so we pull through that other loop on the hook, and now we just have the one. And there is our very first leaf. So we're going to make our second leaf now, and we're going to make a slip stitch into the 16th chain. So I'm counting 8 from the hook right now, then I'm holding that 8th chain with my thumb again so that I don't lose it. And then I'm making my second slip stitch, and like I said, I now have 2 leaves for my pineapple. We want to make a third one, so now we're going to make a slip stitch into that last chain space, which is the 24th chain, and that will complete our third leaf that will go on the very top of the pineapple. So now you can pull up a loop and then snip off some yarn, just leave an extra tail, and this is what your leaves should look like. That completes the 2 parts that we need. Our crocheting is done. You have the yellow for your pineapple and the green for your leaves. Now we just need to shape the pineapple. Now we're only going to be working with the yellow piece, and we're going to shape the pineapple into that cylindrical shape. The curved part of the circle should be facing you. Now you're going to actually have 2 tails, and the second one is where my finger just was, but you're going to want to go ahead and grab a tapestry needle and weave in the end on the inside. You only need 1 of the tails to secure the pineapple, which we'll get to after this part. But like I said, I didn't show you, but I'm kind of helping you right now. Those are the inside stitches, and that is where you're going to want to weave in the end for that second tail that is closest to the inside. Hopefully all of that just made sense, but now we're going to actually get into the shaping part. With the curved part of the circle facing you, take the left edge and pinch it with your left thumb, and then with your right one you can just kind of work with the curling part and just sort of twist it inside of itself. And you want that yarn tail to be on the outside because we're going to sew the pineapple into shape in just a second. But when you twist, you should have something similar to this. And yeah, hopefully it looks like this. It's just a little spiral, and now we want to keep that shape. So we're going to grab our tapestry needle and we're going to secure the pineapple so that it does not change its shape over time. We're going to start sewing along the top of the pineapple where the yarn tail is. So you can see that there's a big flap right there, and that's the edge that we want to sew to the top so that it won't open like that again. So you want to make sure that the flap is laying down straight onto that top, and then you're just going to find the place and insert your needle where you think that the flap will lay flat. So that's what I'm doing right here, and then you just pull through and secure it tightly. Now that you have it into the place that you want it, just sew along the edge a couple more times so that the edge won't move whatsoever. This is going to be my last stitch for the flap, and I feel that I should mention right now that the pineapple will try to get out of shape, so you can just maneuver it just a little bit just to make sure that it does maintain that nice spiral shape. When you're done with that, you want to take the needle through the center and go out to one of the sides. So this is the part that we land at the side. And now you just want to sew the edge of that top part of the pineapple to the next level, which is what I'm doing right here. And then you just want to pull it tight and make sure that it is secure so that the pineapple top doesn't bend out of shape. And then next you're going to take the needle out to the opposite side now, and you're going to do the same thing here. Okay, so let me flip it so that you can see what I'm doing on the other side now. So the thread is over there, and you want to draw up a loop from the top of the pineapple and then go through the next tier, and that's the part that we're going to sew it to. And this will keep that nice cylindrical shape. Again, I'm just making one more stitch to make sure that the pineapple is secure up top. And on this last one, I'm going to make sure that I go through the center of the pineapple, and that's where my yarn tail should be at the end. And now I'm just going to play with it and make sure that I have the nice shape that I want for that pineapple. And with our needle at the end, we're just going to drop a loop from the edge or the end of that spiral, and then drop another loop that's on the opposite side and just pull that tight. And you want to sew that edge closed so that you have more of a spiral shape. So I'm showing you again. I'm just going to pull up another loop, and then I want to make a knot right here because this is my very last one, and I want to make sure that it stays secure. And so now I'm just pulling that knot tight, and that's your pineapple. So now you're ready to weave in the end of that yarn tail. You want to do so on the inside stitches of your pineapple so that the yarn tail doesn't poke out on the outside. So I'm drawing up loops right here that are on the inside, and I apologize, it is kind of hard to see because my thumb is there, but it is super small. So I hope that you get the idea, and you can just see how I'm just maneuvering that tapestry needle until I have enough, and then I pull the thread through, and now this is where I can snip it off. And there you have your finished pineapple. So now you should have both of your parts ready for assembly, the pineapple and the leaves. Now this part is super easy, so you're going to start with one of your green yarn tails first, and you want to thread the tapestry needle with that end that you choose. And this is the first step for securing the leaves to the top of the pineapple. Now right here, I want to mention that this is the top part of the pineapple. You can see that it is the rounded part, and this is where we began sewing down the flap. And when we turn it over, this is the bottom, and it should be hollow. And that's the last part that we sewed down. But I do want to make this differentiation between the top and bottom, because this is how I define the top in the pattern, and I want to keep it consistent. Now we can continue with assembling the pineapple. So we're taking our tapestry needle and going through the center core of the pineapple, and your needle should pop out to the end of the pineapple just like that, and then you just pull your thread all the way through. Now we're done with that tail for now, so go ahead and take the second tail that's still at the top and thread your needle with it, and we're going to go through the same exact process for this one as well. With the needle in hand, we're going to go through an extra step before we go through the center of the pineapple. So you want to go through a different loop in the leaves, just like I did, and then go through the center core. And this is going to ensure that the leaves will stay in the center where you want them to. And just pop your needle out at the end now, around the same place as your first thread, and then just pull that through, and you should have both of the threads poking out of the bottom of the pineapple. So this is about what your pineapple should look like right now. The leaves are at the top. We want to make sure to secure those now. So we're going to take a thread in each hand, and we're going to make a very, very simple knot. So you just loop it through and then tie the knot, and make sure that you pull it up into the center of the pineapple, and this will hide the knot so that you don't see it from the outside. And then I like to make a second knot just to be safe, and again do the same thing and make sure that it's hidden on the inside. And this is what your pineapple should look like. It doesn't look like it changed much. So now we're going to take the longer side, if you have a longer thread like I do, and then we're going to thread the needle again, and we're going to go through the center of the pineapple and end up at the top. So we're going back up the way that we came down. So you just take the needle and go up through the core, and whenever you get to the top you can go through a different part of the leaves, and again this is just going to help secure the leaves to the top of the pineapple. So this is where your thread should end up now, and you can take your tapestry needle off and grab your ear wire. And now we're going to attach this so that we can make it into an earring. So take the thread and go through the hole of the ear wire, and then just pull it all the way through, and this is about what it should look like. You have your long thread at the top with your ear wire through it and your leaves in front. So now go ahead and grab your tapestry needle again, and we're going to go back down the way we came. So you take the needle and go through the center, and you can go through a different part of the leaves again, and then end up with the needle at the bottom like so, and pull it through, and then you're going to have two of your threads at the end again. And right here I like to pull up a little bit more and leave a little bit of room, and don't pull the ear wire all the way close to the top of the pineapple. This just makes it dangle a little bit more, and I find that it works nicely. But now we're going to go through the same process of tying two knots at the bottom. So just take the two threads, one in each hand, and make those simple knots. And again, make sure that you hide the green parts inside of the pineapple, because you definitely don't want those showing whenever you wear your earrings. And there you have it. You have the two threads popping out of the bottom, and then that's your completed pineapple. Now then, the last thing we have to do is weave in those ends of both of the green threads. So I'm showing you right here the inside of the pineapple, and you want to make sure to do this again so that the green doesn't show on the outside as much. No worries if a lot of green shows though, it'll just look a little more realistic. But anyway, once you're done with weaving in the ends, just go ahead and snip off the excess thread and toss that in the trash, and we're going to repeat the process for the second thread. So now I'm showing you again just the inside of the pineapple. This one might be a little bit easier to see, but that's how you weave in the ends. And this is my final green thread, so I like to pull it taut a little bit and then clip it, and then I can throw that little part away, and then I just reshape the pineapple into the spiral that I like. And then there you have it. We have a completed pineapple earring. Now you just repeat the same exact process for your second earring. Thank you so much everyone for watching. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to grab the pattern, go to my Ravelry page or my blog. I have everything linked below. But until next time, you guys, have a good one.